I have a feeling maybe you can't. I don't see any comments or anything. And I don't have any more devices to check. Bear with me for just a second here. Facebook. Okay. No sound, no volume. Is it working now? Let me see. I know I'm going to get some wicked feedback. But there's sound. Good? Give me a thumbs up if it's good. Oh my gosh. Oh, my crafty friends, this is so hard. I just want it to be easy. But still have multiple screens so that I can share with you. Okay, so I am going to show this on here. And I'm going to flip that around so you can see my hands. Okay, can you hear me? Well, I can hear me, so you must be able to hear me. Can someone give me a comment or something just so that I know this is working? Oh my gosh. I'm going to have a mental breakdown. We might be stuck with the sound because I can't get it to go any quieter. Where is the button? Okay, I don't know. Someone give me a comment and let me know that this is working because it's not showing me much. Okay, that's scheduled. There has got to be an easier way to do this. This one's supposed to be the easiest. You're supposed to be able to, like, within 5 clicks, go live and everything is just handy dandy. I disagree. Okay, so I see that there's a few people watching. Oh my gosh. There has to be a way to mute myself. I mean, it works when I'm doing Facebook Live. Okay. So, YouTube. Is it working on YouTube? Great, we get to hear everything I say in stereo. My devices know I'm Dory now, so they're just going to repeat everything I say. Okay. So the reason there was no sound is because I have to use the sound on the device that's recording, and my iPad wasn't all fixed. Okay, so I think we are good to go. Colleen commented, but I still did not see it. Oh, whoa, what was that? Jeez. Oh, got it. Okay, so Simply Succulents. There is a method to my madness. There is a reason that I'm using this tonight. I don't know how to get rid of my echo. I hope it's not bothering you. I wish I could get rid of it, but I don't know how. Oh. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and just make these, and I'm not going to mess around with any more settings. So do you want to see the difficult one first or the easy one first? Oh, can I do that? Which one? Let's go on to here and see if I can mute myself. Oh, I don't hear it now. I think it worked. Watch, you probably have no sound again. Oh my gosh. Hi, Karma. Hi, Mama Ray, Melanie. Melanie, I don't know. Give me something if you can hear me now, because I'm worried that You're not hearing me. Hi, Marilyn. This is so weird. You know what, Melanie? This bundle is carrying forward. So if you were reluctant to get it because you thought that it was going to be retiring, jump on it and get it. It's sticking around. Okay, so you can see at the bottom it says last call for March orders. I will be finalizing the host code order tonight. Hi, Pam. Melanie, I can hear you on both the vases. I'm guessing that was devices. So this is carrying forward, and the reason I'm using it is because the deadline to sign up for the April Blends Club is tomorrow. So you have until end of day tomorrow. I will be placing my pre-order tomorrow afternoon, and I'm kind of hoping that I can order this stuff with it because I will expedite that order so that I can get it out to you super fast, and you'll have it in plenty of time for our Facebook Live blends class. So that being said, it's Facebook Live / Zoom. So you can craft along with us and we can see you and talk to you, or you can just watch on Facebook Live. And the recording stays on there. If you're not able to do it live or you want to come back to it, the recording stays on there for at least until the next month. If you drop off as a blend subscriber, then you wouldn't have access. But if you stay on as a blend subscriber, you would have access. So I'm going to give you a quick peek of my 2 cards. Tiffany designed 1, I designed 2. So quick peek, I'm not like dissecting these. You're just going to see them quickly. So there's the first one. I love it. And there's the second one. I got a rusty little bucket. There's some rust on my bucket. Okay, so the deadline is tomorrow. There is a Google form that you can fill out and let me know. So the cost is totally escaping me at $45 Canadian, and you will get the Simply Succulent stamp set. You will have the option to add on the dies, and we always tell you what color Stampin' Blends we're using for the month, so if you don't have them, you also have the option to add them on. So message me if you have any questions, and don't miss that deadline. This one's a popular one. Okay, so, and I have to tell you, until I designed for this class, I didn't even pull this bundle out. Can you believe that? Okay, so Jewel says she loves them both. It is such an amazing set, Roz, isn't it? I'm kind of perturbed that I can't see my comments on here. I shouldn't have to have every device on, right? Okay. Oh, hello from the Netherlands. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce your name because I will butcher it. Okay, so let me show you the first card. Probably doesn't look like much, but I think you're going to love this. I really think you're going to love it. I do need to use a heat tool, which you know that I hesitate to use when I'm going live, but I realized as I was putting these on, I think they're retired. Do you remember the wonderful gems? Would help if you could see them. At least I could see what's on my phone this week. It took a little time, but so these wonderful gems, you know what? I'm like 99% sure they did retire and I just missed the ball, dropped the ball. But the wonderful gems had red, and they have these beautiful clear gems with some gold in them, like gold little flecks. Like, why did these retire? So I'm going to use mine up. The red ones actually have little flecks of gold in them as well, but I love the clear ones. And I felt like the gilded gems were a little bit too much. Now, if you look closely, I've got some of the champagne mist. Is that it? Champagne mist. What's this called? Shimmer paint. This is retiring. Get your hands on this and the frost white if you don't already have them. Mine are about half full. I'm so going to miss these. I tend to use them more at the holidays, but oh, so gorgeous. Okay, and then the second card is kind of easy because this one takes so much time. I mean, not so much, but I bet you'll never guess what paper I used for these. Maybe you will, but we're going to doll it up. And I use this little wooden shelf from the welcoming window. Look at my ugly nails. and cuticles. I've been painting, so I haven't bothered painting my nails. The welcoming window is carrying forward. So if you've been on the fence with that one, I'll show it to you when the time comes to do this. The Simply Succulents does continue, but that you are absolutely right. It will not continue as a bundle. But let me just say this. Usually what happens is anything that carries forward is not a bundle, but that doesn't seem to be the case this time because there are some that are staying bundled and some that aren't. So if you have any questions, you need to get your hands on this, let me know. We can't order these until tomorrow, so I will be ordering them. And like I said, if you've ordered with me in the last 6 months, you are going to get one automatically. So don't worry. But I do have a Google form on my Facebook page, probably not on my website, which would be a good idea. Add that to my mental to-do list. Wink, wink, Melanie. But yeah, I have a Google form if you would like to get one of those. Surely on the sill, not the fence. That's so cute, Wendy. You know what? Some are and some aren't. That's why I'm confused, because usually it would be like, nope, nothing carrying over as a bundle. But there's a couple of exceptions in there. And I mean, short of going through the catalog, I can't remember them right now. But I do remember seeing something where I'm like, well, that shouldn't still be a bundle, but it is. Okay, so we're going to get going on this because this one takes a little bit. And well, this design is my design 100%. I mean, if you're ever looking for inspiration, I'll tell you what I do. I just want to split my screen so that I can see Facebook and YouTube. Bear with me for just a moment, please. What I do is when I'm going to be, hi Linda, hi Megan. When I'm going to be creating with something, I go to the Google. Most people go to Pinterest right away, and sometimes I do. But you know what? If it's on Pinterest, it's going to be on Google. So I will go into Google, I will type the name of the bundle. Sometimes if I'm looking for something that no one's ever done, I will go in and look for succulents and look for the color, which is how I designed my Blends Club cards. I went in and looked up succulents and found the most stunning picture of succulents. So I don't want to see me. I want to see the comments. Okay, well, hopefully it scrolls a little bit. Talk chat. Okay, hopefully that will pop up. So we need a shaded spruce card base. I should show you the inside. You make the ordinary extraordinary. Do you say extraordinary or extraordinary? I think I usually say extraordinary, but I stumbled. Okay, so there are three key supplies that you need to make this. And where I was going with this is it's my design, but the technique is one that I saw by my friend Kelly Atchison. She did a video last week showing this technique. And what do you think? Should we add some rich raspberry this time, or should we leave it as greens? These are the colors I used the first time. So I have dark shaded spruce, dark just jade, dark mint macaron, and light old olive. So that's what I use for this one. I'm kind of wondering if I should throw some purple in, but then I'm kind of scared about what's going to happen. And the ribbon might look funny. You know what? We're going to leave it out. Executive decision. Hi, Kathy. So a couple key elements. We need Stampin' Blends. We need a piece of vellum. And I would start bigger than you need. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then we need the highest level of alcohol that we can get. So I have 91%. That's what I got to make my shimmer spray mists originally, but it didn't work. 70% rubbing alcohol is what you need for that. And then 90% is what you need for this. So I'm going to pour a little bit into the lid. You can see there's some gold shimmer in there. I'm going to put this way out of my reach. And then I'm going to grab this. So when I was watching Kelly's video, I'm leaking. I don't know if that was from me spilling or if this is leaking. It's not this. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put it in one of my old aqua painters, but it actually works better if I just dip the brush in there. Oh yeah, I see what happened now. You know what? It's not going to do any damage. If anything, it's going to do a little bit of cleanup for me. It'll get any adhesive off. Nothing wrong with that, but I think I am going to grab a new piece of vellum. And I just happen to have some more here. So the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to grab a new piece of grid paper as well. I would not suggest working on your pad of grid paper because this is going to get damp and you don't want to ruin multiple pages. You might want a bit of paper towel as well. I can't get the full chat in there. I'm sorry if I reply to your comments a little late. It's because I can't see them. Okay, so first step, we're going to take our Stampin' Blend. So decide which colors you want to use and then just do some scribbling. Doesn't have to be symmetrical, doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it where you feel it. So like I said, this was dark shaded spruce, dark just jade. And I have a question for you. So I didn't end up getting around to posting the make and take, like the project sheet for last week, and no one asked for it. So I'm like, okay, I'll get to it eventually. But I have heard of, I got this idea that instead of putting it on my blog, instead of sharing it on Facebook, I would do it where I share it to my email list. Because, you know, Facebook could decide tomorrow that it's shutting down. I doubt it, but it could happen. YouTube could stop working. Anything could happen, right? So I'm wondering if I should have it where there's a weekly newsletter. It wouldn't be like a ton of advertising. It would be whatever's coming up that week and the project sheet. What do you think? I need some more old olive in here somewhere. So you can see I am going over them again. Let's put some more shaded spruce in there. Now the other thing you need is a straw. Okay, so you can see I've got like this weird little camo pattern going on. Hey, Susan. Really, Pam? I always go to Google first. Go do an image search, go do a video search, because then that way everything's going to come up. You're going to find everything that's on Pinterest. You're going to find everything that's on YouTube. It's a one-stop shop. Okay, so you're going to see like the top of my head here, but I have to do it like this. So I'm going to put my straw in one hand and you can see that, my aqua painter with some alcohol on it in another hand. And then I'm going to, whoa, smush this around. I was worried about that. I forgot that I had the shimmer paint on the brush already. Okay, let's get a wipe and get some of that off, because I want to add it as an accent, not over the whole thing. Okay. So you can brush it at the same time that you're blowing it. I wish I could zoom in for you, but this app doesn't allow that yet. Okay, so you can brush it, put a whole bunch of alcohol on there and blow. Or you can do both at the same time. Let's add some more here. Isn't it pretty? Now don't breathe in the straw because you get a huge whiff of alcohol. But the straw stays clean. There's nothing in it. I'm just blowing out. I don't love this middle part. Okay, and we'll move on to the next part. And the straw part is optional. If you want to see what it looks like with just the alcohol on it. Pick this up without smushing it. I like the look of that. Oh, getting dizzy. And you don't have to blow super hard. I would suggest working in small areas so that you still get the colors separated. Like I don't want to lose all of my old olive or my mint macaron. Light colors do not show up. So I tried like soft seafoam and it didn't show. It just looked blank in that area. I'm getting lightheaded. If you don't see my head here anymore, it's because I've dropped because I'm out of breath. It is 91% rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. So you need the highest. When I was watching, sorry, I'm just reading the comment, Roz, because drop a few drops. I was thinking you were trying to get the blends into the barrel, but yes, you could use an eyedropper instead of the straw. I thought that this would work great, but I prefer the straw because then I can kind of control where it's going. And there are alcohol inks out there that you could use like a dropper for. Stampin' Up doesn't have them, but they are out there. And then if you decide there's an area like this, it's actually mint macaron in there, but I want some more old olive. As long as it's not wet, we can go in there and smush it around. And the straw part is only if you want it to kind of blow around like this. If you just wanted it to be like straight diluted, you could skip that. But I really like that. We're a little heavy in the middle, but I like how the not the mint macaron, the old olive kind of breaks it up. And if you find that an area is too dark, just put a little more alcohol on it and blow on it again. Okay, so this is where I need my heat tool. So I'm going to tell you to mute, like turn the volume way down. I hate using my heat tool on a live, but we really need it for this. I don't know why I can't see more comments on here. It is kind of marbled, isn't it, Sheila? Oh, that's cool, Diane. You're welcome, Megan. I was thinking about you the whole time. Thank you, Linda. Oh, Angela, so one tip with using any colors is to try and stay away from colors that are going to make it brown. So mute me for just a minute. You'll see when I'm done. Now, one thing I want to do to make this lie flat, hopefully, I don't have any paper towel in here, but I'm going to give it a spritz of just regular water, and that will kind of, I don't know why it works, but watch, it works. Watch, it won't now. Sure, prove me wrong, spritzer, prove me wrong. So for some reason, when you spray the back, and I found this when I was using Brusho, which I wish we still had, but when you were trying to get it to dry, you'd spritz the backside, and somehow physics or science, or I mean physics is science, somehow it reverses itself. It's magic. Now, as you saw, I ended up with a whole bunch of my shimmer in there. What I want to do now is I kind of want to make it look, I don't know what it is, but it's like, now we're going into geology. You know when you see like precious stones and there's, I want to say it's like marble. I've seen it on manicures. So we're going to come into certain areas, and I know that looks like a hot mess. We're going to kind of go along the edge, and it's not going to be super obvious, but if we add a little bit here, a little bit there, it will help to draw the eye, and you don't have to have a super steady touch here. Okay, Angela, what I was going to say is when you are working with any kind of color mediums, you're likely to get brown. Like if I mixed blue and orange, I'm getting brown. If I mix, basically is it complementary colors make brown? Like red and green, brown. So just, I don't know if there's videos or something about that where you could look it up and see what colors not to mix with each other. But if you're getting brown, think about moving to a different spot on the color wheel and maybe it'll work better that way. Now the last thing I'm going to do, and this is entirely optional, is I'm going to spritz it a little bit. And I'm getting a very fine spritz on there. So I'm going to let that sit and dry naturally. Doesn't it look like art? Okay, so we'll let that dry. And if I didn't have all of this wet on here, I mean, I could use my heat tool to set this. I'm going to set it under some books or like reams of paper so that it flattens out. But when I did it the first time, I just lost my train of thought. When I did it the first time, I tried embossing it because whenever you have something that's curling, embossing is a great way to straighten it out. It's like a hair straightener for paper. But that didn't work. I mean, it worked, but it didn't look good. There was too much texture in it, and I just didn't like it. So I'm going to set this aside, and I can go ahead and die cut my shaded spruce succulents. I can die cut my, actually I can't do the stitch rectangles because we're doing that all together. But what I can do is go on to the next card while this is drying. But what I want to do before I totally forget is show you the samples that I made. So this is the one after I watched Kelly's video the other day. Sorry about that little bit of shadow. This was the one I made, and I used the subtle embossing folder and I used the painted texture, and it looks all right. Now this is the back side of my paper. For tonight's projects, we're actually using the front side because it is a little more muted. This one felt pretty darn busy, but this is Pretty Perennials, and I wanted to show you, like, isn't it gorgeous? And then there's this one. I love this one, but look what I did. Look what I did. Why can I see part of my mount on here? Where is it? Sorry, I don't know why I can see part of that. Anyways, I usually can't. But I love, this was the second one. But look, when I was putting ink spritz on something, I got that one. Oh, that's good. To avoid mud. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Vi. So this was my second one, a little more practiced at this one, and I sandwiched it in between a bunch of stitched rectangles, but I'm kind of sad about this. Anyways, those were my play cards from the weekend. So this is drying nicely. I am going to put it between my paper reams. just find something heavy and put it between that. But while we're waiting on that, I have this beautiful one too that I need to do something with. I don't know which way is the right way, but I used some of the champagne foil and vellum, and I thought, oh, I could have done that, but it's already attached, and you saw how much that warped. I don't want to risk it, so I will put this in a case and save it for something else. Thank you so much. What color did I use on which cards, Megan? Let me get some stuff. So I need a top folding basic white card, basic white thick. And I need to trim this down just a little bit. Has anyone guessed what I used for paper? Oh, look at my hair. Can't wait till it can like fully go up in a ponytail and not look like a rat's nest. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down to about 4 1/8. And then when I am using this cutter, because it doesn't go any wider than 4 1/4, what I do is I basically eyeball what I took off the one side and I take it off there, because I do cut these to a quarter sheet, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So whatever I take off one side, I'm taking off the other. But I'm being lazy, and I mean my paper trimmer's right here. But sometimes I prefer the guillotine, other times the trimmer. So Brick and Mortar is the embossing folder that we're using. I just wanted a nice white brick wall. To me, this is like a New York City apartment. Boy, oh boy. Yeah. That's cute, Jenny. Oh, my sample cards. You want to know what colors? Okay. So you know what? I know. I'm working on designs for our, oh my gosh, I was going to say spring fling. For our spring fling retreat, the deadline is April 10th. You've only got like 11 days to register. So if you are in the US, Tiffany and Sherry are your US demonstrators. If you're in Canada, it is myself or Carolyn. Carolyn is one of my team members in Ottawa. So you can register with whomever you choose. And it's going to be so much fun. All the details are on my page. I'm not going to go through it all. But we are using Fine Art Floral and Dandy Garden. So I was using these colors. So these are the colors in here. So Bumblebee, we don't have a blend, but I use the dark Daffodil Delight. I use dark Flirty Flamingo, dark Petal Pink, although remember I was saying that light colors don't show up. So that looks like carryover of the Flirty Flamingo. But the super light colors will kind of look like you don't have any color there. Pool Party was too light, so I went with Bermuda Bay and then Poppy Parade. So those are the colors. I don't know if I'm going to do these cases for the upcoming catalog. I love them, but I don't know. It's a lot of work. Okay, so let me bring this bad boy in. I mean, good boy. He's not a bad boy. I love him. Okay, so this is a 3D folder. We need our specialty plate. You always want to put the seam in first. This is backwards. As I cover everything up. Thank you, Angela. You know what? I totally hear you on the intimidation. You watch people, YouTubers, and all these people, and they have been practicing, my friend. They didn't just pick them up and start creating masterpieces. I mean, if they are the exception, not the rule. Practice, practice, practice. And think of it as progress over perfection. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just keep getting better. Day by day. Sorry. Motivational speech over. So, this is it. But yeah, I would say just practice. I mean, when I started coloring with blends, when I started using anything from Stampin' Up, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just having fun. And if you're not having fun, then something's getting lost because it should be fun. So just practice, practice, practice. I mean, there are days where I have a plenty of cardstock that goes in the garbage because it's just not coming together. And you know what? You dust yourself off and try again tomorrow. Okay, so I need a little piece of crumb cake for this shelf. Has anyone guessed the paper? I can't see all the comments. I, quite honestly, am surprised at how much is carrying forward. I went through my new catalog, which I can't show you inside, but I went through, I always take a Stampin' Up marker and I go through and I highlight what I have. And I used to highlight what I want, but then I would have to use a different color and it would create a different color when I got it. So now what I do is I download the catalog onto my iPad, and I have the 2018 iPad Pro, and I export it into Notability. Is that right? And I use my Apple Pencil and I highlight what I want. And then that way I've got my hard copy of what I have and I have a digital copy of what I want. Where's Tiffany? I see Jenny's virtual hugs. Hi, Tiffany. If you are not having fun, you are doing it right. You're supposed to have fun. Okay, so I haven't seen any guesses on the paper. Let me hold it up one more time before I die cut it. And while I give you a few more seconds to guess, I will glue this stuff down. So I think I'm almost ready to do my craft room tour. Almost. I had one more piece for my video setup that I was waiting to get. But I don't, like, I just did a craft room tour last year, so I don't want to have like multiple tours, because who cares, right? But I want to make sure that it's not perfect. Perfect is overrated, but I want it to feel complete. So I haven't forgotten. Shocking, I know, because my memory is getting worse by the day. But I have booked an appointment with my doctor to find out what the heck is going on with me. Like, is it menopause? Is it, I don't know. Moment to moment. Okay, so here is our brick background. This is a very flat card. There's no dimension because every now and then you just want a low profile card. So I can go ahead, I'm just gluing this down because I thought about using dimensionals, and then I'm like, oh, but if I use dimensionals on the shelf, then I got to use dimensionals on the pot and dimensionals on the plant, and it's just a whole bunch of dimensionals. I was going to say everything's plugged in, but now my phone is saying low battery. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it? It's because my son's been texting me a million times this afternoon. Oh, jeez. Come on. It's in this little, like, coily thing, and it doesn't want to come out. Come out. Come out. Okay. I need one cord going from that side and one coming from this side. Watch now, my iPad will be like, battery low. Oh. Tiffany, if you watch the beginning, you will see the utter aggravation. I will message you later and give you the details, but it didn't go as smooth as it should have tonight. Okay, so big reveal. I have it over here. So if you watched my live where I was going through retiring product last week, you saw me mention, let me bring out my current catalog. Let's go to the paper. I don't know where it's going to be, probably around 153. And it made me laugh because Carolyn is one of my team members, and she did a Facebook Live on Saturday morning, and she basically said the same thing I said. It was so cute. This velveteen Color Velveteen paper pack looks god awful in the catalog. Awful. Like, in what world would you use cinnamon cider, Highland heather, and soft sea foam together? But when you use any one of them on their own, or if you use these two together, it's glorious. This feels like velvet. I mean, it's velveteen, so it's supposed to. But you can, the Arranger Wreath is the one that I've used these most with, as you can tell. And also there's one of the leaf bundles in the holiday catalog that I used. So yeah. So we are using the Velveteen, but we are not leaving it plain. And I'm not sure if Julie's watching, but Julie, yes, that's right, Linda. It should be fun, right? I've taken my phone. Oh, neat, Sheila. Squirrel. Oh, if Julie's watching, I was thinking, okay, so I said to her, I was in the office this morning and Julie and I worked together. And I said to her that I was going to use Simply Succulents for my Facebook Live tonight because the deadline for Blends Club is tomorrow and it's one last shot to promote it, right? And we were talking about her aloe plant, and when we were like fully working from home, all the plants were over by the window and they had all of this amazing natural light. And her aloe plant like morphed into a monster. This thing is huge. And now that it's back into the land of no light, it's not, what's the word? I can't think of it. It's not growing the way it was. It's not flourishing the way it was. So as I was making this after, I mean, I worked from home this afternoon, but as soon as 4:45 hits, I'm like, okay, let's get this done. Because I had the ideas in my head. I just couldn't execute until I was done work. So I was thinking of you, Julie, when I was creating this. Okay, so here is our pot and our freaky little aloe plant. This would make a cool little monster hand, or the Grinch. You know how the Grinch has those really long, furry fingers? Our female dog, when she is in need of grooming, we call her feet little Grinch feet because like the fur comes way out here and yeah, it looks funny. Okay, so we're going to bring in some more grid paper. And now I have my cinnamon cider blends. And I'm out of breath. I know you can probably only see the top of my head right now, but since I've started standing while I craft, sometimes I need to bend over and give my back a little stretch. And I find especially when I'm coloring, I need to be a little bit closer. And the stool that I want is still not in stock. Okay, so I'm coming in with my light cinnamon cider and I'm just going to do a little bit of shading on the side. And then we'll come in. It does soak into the paper, but not the same as it would into cardstock. It almost feels like your marker is dry. Not the most pleasant feeling, but okay. And then we'll go over this a little bit, and then as it dries, it bleeds a little bit, so you don't want to go too far. But look, so it's already textured. It kind of looks like, you know, when you're planting seeds and you get those little like biodegradable soil pod things. Doesn't it kind of remind you of that? The texture, at least. Okay, and then we're doing the same thing for this. So we're going to take, you could use Just Jade light and dark, but since I already had Just Jade and Mint Macaron out, that's what I did. And I actually started with Mint Macaron. I wasn't going to do Just Jade, but I did. So initially I just went around the whole thing. I highlighted, well, I went around the edges, but see what I mean? It seems like your marker is dry. It's not. It's just because it's velveteen and it's sucking it all in. So go around that whole thing, and then we'll go around it with the Just Jade. I really don't think you could mess this up. It is pretty forgiving. Okay, so I'm using the brush tip. And I'm going around. Now, not following my own advice. When I do this, I like to work from the back because if my hand slips, chances are it's going to slip onto the back, not the front. I do this when I'm outlining dies as well. Okay, so do you see it kind of bleeds a little bit? I was pretty proud of this. I decided that the soft sea foam was a little bit lighter than I wanted it to be, and I was just playing, just having fun. And isn't it awesome when you're playing and the result is more than you could have expected? Very cool. So I want to thank those that were on my page last night and helped me sell the rest of my Shark Frenzy kits. As you probably know, I over-ordered because there was that free shipping day on March 17th. I almost said January. And I mean, I usually get a certain number of kits per month. So I ordered for that and I didn't get that many. So I put it out there that I had extra kits and a few of you jumped and I'm so grateful. Okay, now this didn't bleed quite as much as I want. So in some areas, I'm just going to come in and add some more. Oh, now this totally looks like a Grinch hand to me. And like I said, it will blend as it dries, but if you're worried, you can always just come back in. But let's leave it alone for a few minutes. And I used a different sentiment in here. There are some cute ones in here. Oh, that's nice. Oh, thanks, Tiffany. For some reason, my comments aren't coming up here, so I am checking both. Right, Angela? You know what, that auditioning thing, when I don't know if I mentioned it, I tend to say it in videos, like I'll say, okay, so just audition it there and make sure that you like where it is. I got that from Marissa Alvarez, Kitchen Table Stamper. She said that, and I was watching her live one day, and I'm like, oh my God, I love that term. And I've been using it ever since. It makes perfect sense. I mean, when you say it, people know exactly what you mean. Okay, so the sentiment is actually one that's retiring from the annual catalog, and it's one that took me quite some time to get, but it's a beauty. I've used this rose quite a few times. So I thought, you know, aloe is supposed to help you, like it's supposed to, if you have cuts or whatever, like it's supposed to help, right? It's healing. So I thought, sending you healing vibes. Also, a reminder to get this while you can. That's too small. Because everything in the catalog is only while supplies last at this point. I mean, stamps are guaranteed a little bit longer because Stampin' Up makes them, but for most things, once it's out, it's out. Now, this is, it's not a cling mount, so when I go to stamp with this one, I always test it out on my grid paper first because I don't want it to be crooked. So when I get it where I want, then I try not to move it and I come to my card. So if you have something like that, or maybe you've put your cling on wrong, because that never happens, right? Just stamp it on your grid paper before you wreck your card. And I could have used this cute little whatever pattern this is. It reminds me of a knitting pattern, but I chose to use this little cutie because I hadn't used him yet. I also wanted to do a project tonight that wasn't using the dies because, well, I mean, this is using the dies, but one where I wasn't using this because every idea I have is using that huge die. Except in Blends Club. I have, well, I showed you my ideas, right? Although I did use that on both. Okay, so I'm going to use mint macaron for my succulent. And there we go. We have an empty shelf. This would be my plant shelf. Plants die on me. Okay, sorry, I've got to change power from one to another. Honestly, my son, when he goes to his dad's, texts me Like, I will not answer him because it's all about movies and he's sharing trivia. And I've said to him, like, do you want me to answer? Are you just telling me this? Like, what do you want? And he said, no, I'm just telling you this. So I will come to my phone and there will be 63 unread messages. And I'm like, oh my God, child. So I said to him today after he got to his dad's, I'm like, make a list of the movies you want to watch with me. Like, stop sending me Google images and videos that are like, Mom, we need to watch this movie. I'm like, make a list. So it was like a 3-page list. Oh my phone is still low battery. How can that be? It was just charging. Hopefully that lasts. Okay, so this card is done. Worst case, if my phone dies and I can't show you the rest of this, I mean, I've shown you the technique part of it. The rest of it is just putting it together. Okay, so I gotta get it out from between my paper reams. So there we go. Beautiful, right? So I'm not going to do anything with it yet. I want to get this out of the way. We need to get a sheet of the adhesive sheets. That sounds funny. A sheet of the adhesive sheets, a sheet of the sheet. And I'm going to cut it to about 4 1/4. I can cut any length off after. And I need a piece of shaded spruce. And I'm going to adhere this to the back. So the adhesive sheets have little perforations. So if you pull that off, apply it to the cardstock, give it a burnish, and then you want to peel your next one. I sometimes find that it would be easier to just peel it from there. And then before I peel the release paper from the rest of it, I don't want to leave this exposed because it will just make everything messy. So cut that off. And if you peel it and then realize, you can still just fold the release paper back on that and then cut it off. I'm sure that didn't make sense, but once it happens to you once, you'll know exactly what I mean. I've got so much garbage here. Okay, so there we go. Notice I'm trying to rush now. I don't want you to miss this part. Okay, so I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. And I like running it through and then back, just so that all those pieces come out easily. Oh, and I don't have any Happy Mail to show you tonight. Actually, I do. I have one super cute thing from one of the sweetest ladies I know. Okay, so I'm taking my die brush. The easiest way to do this is to keep the die on the cardstock to use your die brush. Once the die is off, you really don't have anything to leverage it against. But this pattern is easy enough to line back up. And then just get those extra little pieces out. I'm so mad at myself. I tried doing this technique that I wanted to do for tonight. I was going to have 3 projects and then it just wasn't coming together, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll do it for my next video because I need to work out the kinks. It didn't work. I wasted 4 sheets, not 4 sheets, but the equivalent of 1 sheet of cardstock in 4 different colors. I mean, it's 8.5 by 11 in the garbage, but there's also a lot of adhesive sheet on there, so I'm not happy. Okay, so we can adhere this and die cut it all at one time. Sometimes I have a hard time using adhesive sheets when there's this much that's being cut out, but I don't know about you, I do not have time to sit there and glue all of that. Okay, so like I said, we are putting this on the front. That is the back side, which looks like nothing. You want to be gentle. This die isn't like super fragile, but you want to be careful. Now, I'm going to get rid of these and then I'm going to show you my Happy Mail that came. So this might just be the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's a little ladybug and it's a desk vacuum. Thank you so much, Marilyn. She sent me a message saying she ordered something, but she was so worried that it wasn't going to arrive. And look at this. Okay, it's going to be some noise for a second. Not that bad, right? But okay, see this? How stinking awesome is that? And then you just turn it off. Whoops. And everything goes in there. It's so stinking cute. Thank you so much, Marilyn. Now I'm just blowing stuff all over the place. I can't. So in the last month, I have been fully vacuumed. So this little cutie, I bought a Roomba because with our new flooring, it needs to be vacuumed like every other day. And then I also got a new Dyson because the Roomba can't do stairs. I don't want to use it downstairs. So, water-based markers for this paper. Which one, Angela? Do you mean for this? You probably could, but you won't get the look of the alcohol. Like it, you wouldn't be able to blow it the way we did. Right, Melanie? So cute. It is cuteness overload. Okay, so I'm going to grab my stitch dies because we need to do 2 of them. Oh, I want to do one more thing first. Because this is vellum and we still don't have the perfect vellum adhesive that's like invisible. I don't want to sit there and put a whole bunch of glue on the back. This thing is eating up my adhesive sheet, so I need to remember to add them to my order tomorrow. This means you won't be able to see the adhesive. That's also why it's die cut to the size that it is, in case you were wondering. And then I decided, I know you can't see the stitching on the aloe part, but that's also because I die cut the white with that already on there. So maybe I'll do it separately this time. Getting rid of that extra piece. So tonight's stream is a little bit longer than normal. 1, because this project takes a little bit longer. 2, because of the issues I had when I was starting. But I sure hope you think it's worth it, whether you're catching it live or on the replay. Stitched rectangles. Who else is just gutted about all of the basic dies leaving us? Okay, so it's the largest of the stitched rectangles for the basic white. Like, seriously, stitch shapes? Not okay. Not okay. And then I think it's the second down. Yes, it's the second down for this piece. So we're going to do them separately this time. Luckily, our stitched rectangles are staying, but the stitched nested dies are going. The Be Mine stitched hearts are going. There's just so many great shapes. The layering ovals, the layering squares. I mean, layering squares I didn't use often because I would just cut, and I didn't tend to use scallops with the squares. But we're only going to have layering circles left. Okay, so you can see the stitching on there, I hope. Ooh, cute, huh? And it's awesome because this is all glued down. None of these little petals are going to come up and peel. I mean, I wouldn't test it. Yes, right? Gutted. I am going to add them to my pre-order, Jenny. Thank you. Also, because I don't know if you can see down here. No, you can't. You definitely can't. I'll try and remember to show you. But in prepping the Shark Frenzy kits, I do not have one single piece of Pacific Point left, and I think I have a sheet and a half of Balmy Blue. And you know what? Pacific Point is not a color that I use often, but this is the second time in a year that I've been out of Pacific Point. And I was thinking back when Tiffany and I did the whale for Creativity Delivered. I know Whale of a Time. This is the Whale Done bundle. I didn't have a scrap of it, and I'm like, I don't even use Pacific Point. But for the second time in less than a year, I am completely out. Like, I'm on fumes. I don't even know. Yeah, it's just scraps. So there was one project that I had to compensate for, but I made a good substitution. You'll know it when you see it. Okay, so now I'm just peeling off my sticker. Beautiful, right? There's going to be no visible adhesive because it's all one piece. Okay, so I'm going to center it top to bottom, left to right. This was easier to do when I was cutting it all as one because all I had to do was center the large stitched rectangle on there. But look at that little bit of shimmer and where we've got the lines. Now, if you wanted it to look maybe, I don't know if it's marble, but I know that there's like some kind of hard stone that you would have these kind of like veining. If you wanted, you could use like if you had like a gold gel pen or marker, you could add a little bit more detail. But look, I think just using the shimmer paint on the brush worked pretty well, right? Now I know I have a card base around here somewhere. Maybe I didn't take it out. That could very well be. Okay, so shaded spruce, we need one more piece of basic white. And before I put this on, I need, my light up there is so bright when I go to look at my ribbon. I don't know how much battery power I have. Now, I could have this side out, but I want that side out. So I need to put it this way down. So give that some thought. I thought about popping this up and then I thought, I'm going to glue it. So glue, that's not what I do. I've got no way of knowing where to stop if I do it that way. So I'm going to put my ribbon down, making sure I have enough. It took me forever to get this ribbon, like forever and a day. I love it. It definitely wouldn't be my first. I mean, it has its projects, right? It has its reasons. I'm happy that it's carrying over. Sorry, I can't move my, oh, I can move my iPad a little more. So the reason I'm not able to like move my iPad more than I have is because I got a new mount for it. I am selling, if you watched me last week, I have the Archon mount and I got an Archon iPad holder, but it cast too much of a shadow because it was down here and like there was a huge shadow all in here and it just wasn't working. So I do have that one for sale if anyone wants it, but I found this one on Amazon that was going to work with the new, I got, well, you'll see it when I do a video or pictures. I will warn you not to pull too hard here because I did on my first one and it just won't come back down. Anyways, I got this like dual arm for my equipment. Now, because I want this shimmery side out, I've got to be a little strategic in how I turn my ribbon to tie my bow. Where was I going with that? Oh, so I've got this different iPad mount on like a Visa mount, much like you would do for a flat TV, like to wall mount your TV. Except that this mount is so flimsy that when you go to lock it, it doesn't really lock. So I'm terrified that my iPad's going to come like crashing out and break. So now I have to look for a different one. But I do love how Amazon is so great about returns. This is tricky. One, because you're watching, because when I did this the first time, it worked like a charm. Just saying. But because we're trying to get that shiny side out, it can be a little tricky. So I'm going to, whatever this is, I'm going to call it good enough. Just kind of zhuzh those ends a little bit. And that's good. It's not the greatest, but we'll use my retired gems because I swear to God I didn't know that they were, but I love them. Like, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous with the little flecks of gold in there? So if there's any spots that I want to cover, like maybe I have too much shimmer paint in there, maybe I have an ugly little dot, I can put them there. So look for spots that you're not happy with and cover those. This one's a little big. So let's go back to the little ones. But you will never get the same look twice with this alcohol technique. I dare you to try. I would love to see if you can get two that totally match. I'm going to put a larger one down there because there is the room and I kind of want to draw the eye down there. So I purposely did not put a sentiment on there. I put it on the inside. You make the ordinary extraordinary with that little succulent. So I will finish that live or after I'm done live, but I've kept you for an hour and 6 minutes. Not so bad. But I'm worried, like my iPad's at 12%. I have no idea what my phone's at, so I don't want it to just crash. But if you look how much lighter that one is. Remember, I didn't like how it got so dark in the middle. But if, oh, thank you. Please tell me how to pronounce your name. Is it Inek? Inek? Ineki? Oh, that's a good idea, Megan. Quartz, that's it. Thank you, Erin. If you would like one of these two, because I'm not making more, if you would like one of these two, send me a message. There's only 2 of them. If you want one of these, send me a message. So just tell me whether you want the aloe plant or you want the alcohol succulents, the drunk succulents. And then I can also, I mean, I'm going to have to put an embellishment there. But if you'd like either one of these, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, because this was why I was doing this, so that you could see this alcohol technique. And like I said, it was Kelly Atchison's video that showed how to do this. I hadn't heard of anything like this, so I am thrilled with the outcome. So if you would like any one of these 6 cards, just send me a message, let me know. I'll probably get it in the mail early next week. Okay. Ian? Oh, I don't know. I'm so sorry. And you know what? A pet peeve of mine is when people spell my name wrong, right? Because mine is the easiest way. Like there's the Leigh, and I mean, there's probably other ways, but mine's the easy way. How do people get it wrong? I get Ely all the time. It drives me crazy. So mispronouncing or misspelling someone's name is a big thing to me. I see it as a sign of respect. So I would rather not say your name and not butcher it. But yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's all. It's an hour and 9 minutes and 10 seconds, and I'm going to call it a night. If you have signed up for the Spring Fling, I am going to be sending invoices shortly. I'm thrilled with the uptake on this one. And if you want a catalog, just send me a message. I've also got the Google form that you can fill out. And I think that's all. I'm going to go and relax. Relax my mouth because clearly I can't speak. So thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye. I don't know where to wave.